Hey guys, this is Geronimo Reader and I'm back with another video. Today we are going to start a new book, the 80th book by Elizabeth Adami via Geronimo Stilton. So the book title is Have a Heart Geronimo. So let's begin. Chapter 1. A Real Heartstopper. A cold breeze blew through my whiskers. Brr. February is not my favorite time of year. I rubbed my paws together and then hugged my arms close to my sides. But I'm getting ahead of myself. My name is Stilton, Geronimo Stilton, and I'm the editor-in-chief of the Rodents Gazette, the most famous newspaper on Mouse Island. I was walking to the office, mentally going through my to-do list. Hold a Gazette staff meeting, edit a few articles, review the paper's marketing plans. I was so caught up in my thoughts that I walked smack into a street light. Bam! Holy Swiss cheese! That was painful. Carefully, I patted my snout to make sure all my whiskers were accounted for. Phew! I hadn't lost any, but my head was spinning. I stood very still, waiting for the world to stop turning. When it did, I could see that all the rodents on the street were staring at me. How embarrassing! My fur blushed as red as a Gouda rind. I darted across the street, opened the door to the Cheddar Cafe Cuff, and took a deep breath. The Cheddar Puff Cafe. It smelled heavenly. The owner spotted me and waved a paw. Good morning, your usual today, Mr. Stilton? He asked. I nodded, examining all the famous treats spread out in the display cases. He passed me my iced mocha cheddar latte. I can't resist an iced drink, even in cold weather. As I was unwrapping my straw, I noticed the barista had drawn a cute heart shape in the latte form. As I dropped the straw in the drink, I realized that it also had a little heart decoration on it. Even the sample cookies on the counter were each in the shape of a heart. I took one, dunked it in my latte, and ate it up in one bite. Delicious. I definitely felt better without my embarrassing run-in with the streetlight now. I paid for my latte and headed for the office. Now that I had cheddar latte power, I felt sure I could race through my to-do list before lunch. As I was walking by the florist's window, I let out a squeak. They had trimmed small bonsai trees into heart shapes. Oh no, here too? I started walking again, but as soon as I reached the bakery, I stopped again. Wow! All the loaves of bread are shaped like hearts. I went a few steps farther. There were more hearts at the houseware store, and overnight their window had transformed into an entirely pink theme. Does everyone have love on the snout all of a sudden? I wondered out aloud. Just then, a very cold gust of wind caught me by surprise. Whoosh! I scurried ahead a little faster. I couldn't wait to warm up at the office. But before I was very far, crash! I walked right into a rodent carrying a very large net. The net fell open, releasing a cloud of balloons into the air, each shaped like a heart. Frosted Fontina! More hearts? What is going on? But the rodent didn't seem to have heard my question. You just made me lose my whole balloon delivery. You'll have to pay for these, or I'll never hear the end of it from the big cheese. I shrugged and pulled out my wallet to pay him. He stormed away, and I stared up at the brilliant blue morning sky. The little red and pink heart balloons got smaller and smaller. Where had all these hearts come from? What did it mean? I scratched my snout thoughtfully. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed the time on my watch. Greasy cat guts! Now I was late. Chapter 2. We are live. I ran the rest of the way to the Rodents Gazette office. As soon as I stepped through the door, I heard the roar of a familiar voice. There you are, grandson. Is this the time you really show up at work? I have been waiting here for an hour already. Squishy string cheese. It was my grandfather, William Shortpaws, founder of the Rodents Gazette. He rambled on without waiting for an answer from me. What was I thinking the day I asked you to be the editor-in-chief? He mourned. Just then, two rodents walked by me, moving a desk. Watch your paws. We are working here, one of them growled. I took a step back, but bam! I knocked into another rodent who was carrying rolls of wallpaper. Coming through, he called, not stopping. I was spun around and boom! I got a snout full of wooden ladder and saw stars for the second time that morning. Squeak! What was going on? Before I could ask, My cousin Trap barged in behind me. He wore a fancy black suit and a dapper bow tie. Howdy, Geronimo. I just saw you get tangled up with that ladder. You should be more careful, you know. I was about to reply when Benjamin and Trappy, my nephew and niece, scurried into the room. They were dressed up too and carried heart-shaped balloons. More hearts? I turned around to ask Grandpa William for an explanation, but he was in no mood for questions. Grandson, what are you doing? Still standing there? We are on a deadline. Follow me. You and I are having a meeting right now. I followed Grandpa William to his office, where he lectured me on the newspaper business for almost an hour. I pretended to take notes and eventually he ran out of steam. Finally, he dismissed me with a wave of his paw. Relieved, I darted back out into the hallway. Two workers rushed up and down looking serious. What was going on here? And why had no one told me anything about it? I started to follow the workers, but someone tapped me on my shoulder. Mr. Stilton, I have some documents for you to sign. I turned around to see my assistants, Mozilla, holding a pen and a huge pile of papers. Do I have to sign them right now? I asked. A rodent carrying a toolbox full of nails, hammers, pliers, wrenches, and tape walked by us. I was bursting out of my fur with curiosity. Yes, these have to get signed today, she said firmly. I heaved a big sigh and proceeded to sign all the documents one after the other, right there in the hallway. When I finally finished, I handed the stack back to her. Mozilla, do you know what is going on in the office today? I gestured around at all the construction supplies. A look of panic flashed across Mozilla's face. Oh, look, Kripila is here. Mozilla sped off down the hall. Kripila appeared and swept in for a hug. There you are. I have been looking everywhere for you. You have? I squeaked. Yes, of course. Come with me. She grabbed my paw and pulled me toward my office. When I walked in, my short dropped open. Holy Swiss cheese! Can someone please explain me what is going on here? A whole TV crew had gathered in my office. Now don't get your tail in a twist. All you have to do is come over here and read this piece of paper. Kripla led me to my desk and gestured for me to sit. I gulped and plunked down onto my desk chair. As I glanced around the room, I noticed that my sister Thea and her friend Flora were in the office too. I was about to ask Thea what this was all about when one of the crew members flicked on a very bright light. Flash! Cream cheese on toast! The light blinded me. Spots swam in front of my eyes. Then I heard a voice begin to speak. 3, 2, 1, and we are live! Chapter 3 Heart to Heart. What did that mouse say? We were on live TV? Thousands and thousands of rodents all over Mouse Island were watching me right now. I started to sweat like a hunk of parmesan left out in the sun. The paper Kripila had handed me shook in my trembling paws and I couldn't read from it. Kripila grinned at me and signaled for me to start reading. I cleared my throat and tried to concentrate on the words in front of me. Dear fellow puppies. The camera rodent started to giggle. The crew members behind him exchanged confused glances. I stopped and tried again. Dear fellow citizens. Kripla smiled and flashed me a paws up. She silently mouthed, Well done. Feeling more confident, I kept going. Have you noticed that new mouse city is full of hearts? Suddenly, I stood up and let out a squeak. I knew there was something strange going on. Thea sighed. Flora burst out laughing and the camera rodent spun around in surprise and crashed to the ground. Whoops! I could fix this. I smiled awkwardly and attempted to sit back down gracefully. When I had stood up, however, I had knocked my chair back, so when I tried to sit, I crashed to the floor like a bag of parmesan rinds. My head flew back and I squashed my tail under me. Bam! This live TV experiment was now officially a disaster. Luckily, Flora revived the cameraman with stinky cheese-smelling salts. Kripila raced over to my desk and picked up the script I had dropped. I'll take over, she squeaked. She took my place as the camera mouse stood back up. Dear fellow rodents, as Geronimo Stilton was just saying, New Mouse City has been flooded with hearts today. But those hearts are not just here to remind you that Valentine's Day is around the corner. I was impressed. Kripla sounded like a real TV professional. She continued, Those hearts are here to mark a very important announcement. You are hearing it here first. Mice. In just a few days' time, I will be opening my very own dating and wedding planning agency. Right here in the Rodents Gazette office. My snout dropped open. What? Chapter 4 Heart to Heart. Kripla threw open her arms and a banner bearing the agency's name unfurled from the ceiling. Confetti rained down on us. Slowly, I stood, trying to make sense of Kripla's announcement. I rubbed my snout and whined and winced. Kripla continued to smile into the camera. Are you looking for the cheese to your cracker? Have you already met your perfect pairing? Do you want to plan your dream wedding? Would you like the biggest wedding cheesecake ever made? Heart to Heart can do all that for you, and more and more. The bright lights flashed off, my whiskers tingled. I didn't want to be a worry rat, but I had a bad feeling about this new scheme of Kripla's. Squeak. Heart to Heart. Meet your rodent soulmate. Our staff will plan a series of romantic dates with eligible mouselets. Join our rewards program and get a free cheese plate. Plan the perfect wedding with us. Try our full heart service. Selection of clothing, rings, and shoes for the big day. Reservation of a fabulous location. Catering provided by the best of Mouse Island. Cakes prepared by world-renowned bakers. A honeymoon anywhere on Mouse Island. Chapter 5 Party Time. All the crew mice started to pack up their equipment. Kripla clasped her paws together and turned to me. Now it's time to start preparing for today's grand opening party. What is going on? I asked. Just then, Grandpa William poked his snout into my office. There you are. Clean up this mess and let's shake our tails. It's time to put the latest issue to bed. He disappeared back into the hall and I shrugged at Kripala. Fortunately, Trap came to the rescue. Don't worry, Kripala. I'll help you organize the party. Fabulous! Thanks, Trap! Kripla cried and rushed out the door with Trap in tow. Don't be a worry rat. I'll explain more later. The film crew left as well. I looked around in a daze. With a sigh, I sat back down at my desk. The news waits for the new mouse. I needed to finish up this issue of the paper or I'd never hear the end of it from grandfather. That night was the grand opening party for Kripala's new business. I wasn't thrilled about going, but it was downstairs at the Rodents Gazette office, so I had no excuse to skip it. When I arrived, the celebration was in full swing. The rodents of New Mouse City had showed up in their fanciest outfit. Sheepishly, I looked out at my wrinkled suit. I wondered if I had time to go home and change. Geronimo, Trap shouted. You cheddarhead, what are you wearing? Never mind, go get something to eat. All the food is mouse-rific. He darted off back into the crowd of guests and I made my way to the buffet. Before I could get to the buffet, Kripala spotted me. Geronimo, you are finally here? I can't wait to tell you everything. I was starving. Yes, but maybe first I should have a cheese tart. Kripala didn't seem to hear me. She dragged me away from the buffet. I'm just so proud of this opening party. It was a lot of work to make the Rodents Gazette office look presentable enough, you know. I grimaced, but Kripala kept talking. I had planned for my agency's main office to be headquartered in Sulk Castle, but it was infested by rock termites. Just then my stomach growled from hunger. Growl. What's for that weird noise? Kripala asked. Yikes, I had to eat something fast. I tried to sneak off toward the buffet again, but Kripala held tightly to my arm and continued her story. While waiting for the exterminators, I asked Grandpa Willie if my agency's headquarters could be here at the Rodents Gazette at least temporarily. He was so kind and said yes immediately. Thea and Flora came over, sipping cheese shakes. They looked delicious. Growl. There went my stomach again. Oh dear. Flora leaned in and gave Kripala a hug. Oh, Kripala, this agency is such a great idea. I'm positive it will be mouse-terrifically successful, Thea agreed. No one in New Mouse City is doing anything like this. Suddenly, the heart-shaped clock hanging above the door started to strike the hour. Ding, 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 ding. It rang out 10 times and then went silent. Kripala picked up a glass and tapped it with a spoon. Mouselets, may I have your attention, please? All eyes turned to her. Welcome, dear rodents. I'm so happy you are here tonight. I would like to thank every mouse who has helped me embark on this new adventure. The room erupted into applause. I'm so excited this is finally coming together for her, Flora whispered to Thea. Thea smiled. Me too. This has been a dream for so long. They both giggled. It was nice to see them so happy for their good friend. Special thanks to Geronimo Stilton, Kripla continued. Why would I be getting special thanks? I plastered a half smile on my snout and turned to see what Kripla was going to say. Geronimo has been my rack of Parmesan, my wall of Gouda, my cheese knife of all trade. That's why I'm so pleased to announce that he will be joining my team as a romance consultant. Squeak! I was so surprised. I nearly swallowed one of my own whiskers. What? Did I know about romance? But the room cheered and Kripala hugged me. I guess I would finally find out exactly how much I know about romance tomorrow. So only this much for today, friends. And we'll continue this book in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Have a good day.